Hey, forgive how I look and how I sound. I'm so ill and I just came back from summer in the city, and getting drunk for 3 days in a row does wonders for the throat. But I just thought I'd get this off my chest because I've been thinking about it for most of the weekend and I wanted to talk about it. Over the weekend, at one point I was watching the Women on YouTube panel. A lot of the things said were, some good points were brought up, but I felt like a lot of what was said was very contradictory. At the beginning they were talking about how a lot of the reason that, despite there being so many women on YouTube, that men get popular is because, besides men being pretty and people are watching people who are pretty, besides that, it's because men don't have a standard to uphold. Men on YouTube are allowed to be gross or overly enthusiastic or offensive or whatever, whereas women are considered to have to be very pretty and sort of ladylike and stupid shit like that. But then later on in the panel they were talking about how we have a responsibility to be perfect and pretty and to sort of censor our language and be role models for young girls on YouTube, and I was so annoyed at that. We, as women on YouTube, are perpetuating the stereotype of women on YouTube. We're trying to be pretty and perfect and prissy and role models. We're trying to be this perfect image of a woman, and that's not right. A lot of the reason why men on YouTube are so popular is because they're allowed to be themselves, and if that involves swearing a lot, then fine. If that involves being a bit disgusting, then fine. But if the minute a woman swears, she's suddenly being a bad role model, and it's very contradictory for a woman on YouTube to complain about that and then start doing it themselves. At one point it was said that one of them wasn't being, like, disingenuine. They were being themselves, but they were being a perfect version of themselves. If you have to censor your voice, keep yourself looking pretty and perfect, and keep yourself being this perfect version of yourself, then I don't believe you're being yourself. Being yourself is allowing slip-ups with language and looking a bit messed up and just generally being natural with how you're acting. And another person said on the panel that when they were growing up they got very angry because they didn't want this perfect prissy role model. They wanted to see something real because they were a kid, they were going through some shit, and all they were seeing on YouTube was this perfect prissy, everything's fine, everything's fun and happy bullshit. And that's exactly how I feel with YouTube, is that I can watch male YouTubers more than I can watch a lot of female YouTubers, and I feel so bad for that. We are role models, but because we are ourselves. People look up to people they relate to, not to people who they want necessarily to be like. There is a lot of the I want to be like you, but first and foremost comes I relate to you. You are a mirror of myself, but I like you. And that is where being a role model comes from. Being someone you can relate to and not being someone who is just doing it to be perfect and to show people how they should act. If you want to fucking swear in your videos, then fucking swear. Kids are not going to worry about it, because I'm going to tell you a big secret. Chances are that the kids who swear, or the kids who watch your videos while you're swearing, have been swearing since before they were out of nappies. Because it's not just YouTubers who swear that kids look up to. It's parents. Parents swear all the time. Other kids swear all the time. I swore when I was 6 years old, but I knew not to swear in front of grown-ups because they thought it was bad. But I swore in front of my friends, and that's how kids act, because kids are a lot smarter than you give them credit for. Children know what's up. They know the difference between right and wrong if they've been taught it by their parents. It's not YouTube's responsibility to teach children not to swear or not to be a bit vulgar. It is the parents' responsibility to take that when it starts and nip it in the bud. Kids, don't swear around adults. That's all you have to say. Kids, don't swear around adults because you'll get your ass kicked for it. Don't do what I do in polite company. If kids are watching content that's inappropriate for their age rating, it's not the kid's fault and it's not the content's fault. It is the parents' fault for not supervising their children's internet usage. And I'm sorry, people will say, oh, but parents can't constantly be looking over their kids' shoulders. Yes, you fucking can. For you to be consciously cleaning up your act for the sake of the 13, 14-year-olds that might be watching you, I'm sorry, but the 13 or 14-year-olds probably won't watch you. That's just how it is. And that is why women on YouTube are less popular. Because women on YouTube are perpetuating the stereotype that women on YouTube have to be perfect. It is our fault that we're not popular, as much as it is society's. And I hope that the female community on YouTube can start to be acting more like human beings and less like women on YouTube. That's my 2 cents. Love you guys. See you later.